What if I told you that Disney wants to erase its latest princess? Rachel Zegler, the actress once hailed as the future face of Disney, has completely disappeared from the studio's official media. And it's no coincidence that the announcement of a new remake of Snow White, just a year after the disaster she starred in, has been interpreted as a direct blow, a silent sentence. What really happened behind the scenes? And why are even the progressive sectors of Hollywood now turning their backs on her? And how did a simple remake of a classic end up sinking an entire generation of creative fans and a star? The story you're about to learn has no ending. Happy Disney's first big bet was clear to modernize the 1937 classic with a strong heroine without a prince, without romantic love, and with a feminist message for new generations. But things went wrong from the beginning. Rachel Zegler, in her interviews, described the original story as strange, criticized the prince, and ridiculed the romance that for decades had captivated millions on social media. These statements did not go unnoticed. The pressure began to grow, the fandom fractured, and when the trailer was released, criticism rained down mercilessly. The first private screenings confirmed the worst. Neither the public nor the critics felt connected to this new Snow White, but the worst was yet to come. Disney CEO Bob Iger knew that the scandal was out of control. Toys weren't selling. Stores began liquidating products weeks after the film's release. The budget would never be recovered. The company's creatives couldn't reach an agreement. Some wanted to maintain the progressive line. Others called for a return to the roots before the Disney brand became synonymous with controversy. The result was an unprecedented internal crisis. Marketing, public relations, and management departments were disconnected from each other, sending out contradictory messages while the film's reputation plummeted. They made a desperate decision without issuing any official statement. Disney announced a new project, another version of Snow White, but this time promising a return to the original magic with classic songs, a fairy tale atmosphere, and a story. That didn't need fixing. Rachel Zegler wasn't mentioned. Her appearances in Disney media were cancelled, and while the products, they talked about returning to the emotional essence of the classics. The industry understood the true message. They wanted to erase the disaster and start from scratch. Rumors exploded. It was said that the new casting was looking for an actress with classic elegance and natural charisma. Someone who wouldn't divide the public, but would unite it. Zegler, who had been presented as the symbol of a new era, was now out of the running. With each new leak, Zegler's image crumbled further. Some insiders went so far as to say that she single-handedly sabotaged the film with her attitude, her speech, and her behavior in interviews. Meanwhile, Disney was already moving the pieces to regain control. Old-school animators, new composers, and a long-term plan that included everything from changes to the parks, to behind-the-scenes documentaries, to clean up the image. Zegler, for her part, sank into silence. There was no defense. There was no public redemption. Only the echo of a career that, after West Side Story, seemed destined for stardom and is now foundering amid accusations, cancellations, and memes. Then the inevitable question arises. The silence surrounding Rachel. Zegler is no coincidence in Hollywood. When doors stop opening, there's no need for an official statement. You just have to observe who's no longer answering the phone. Producers who previously praised her now avoid mentioning her. Studios that were considering including her in new projects have begun to look for other options. Even brands that had considered her for campaigns have withdrawn proposals without further ado. Explanation. And while the spotlight was ignoring her, the industry was reorganizing behind her back. Zegler has unwittingly become an example of what happens when an actress faces a machine that values narrative control more than individual talent. But the blow wasn't just for Rachel. Disney has also received a clear message from the public. Enough with ruining what was working. Social media exploded after the announcement of the new remake. Hundreds of thousands of comments demanded respect for the classics and accused the company of using iconic characters as an ideological testing ground. "The problem isn't that they changed Snow White," wrote one user. "The problem is that they took it apart piece by piece and hoped that the company that dominated the hearts of millions for years would still shine. It's now walking a tightrope. One more false move and the spell will be completely broken." Behind the artistic failure lies an economic disaster. Millions of dollars in unsold merchandise, commercial deals that were paused or cancelled, stores reporting massive losses on products from a film that the public simply chose to ignore. And not only that, investors began to ask, is Disney losing its rhombus? Does it still have the creative compass that once turned every film into a global event? Nervous executives know they can't afford another flop. That's why this new remake isn't just an attempt to remake Snow White, it's a rescue operation for the entire brand. To avoid repeating the disaster, Disney has brought in reinforcements. A new screenwriter known for balancing emotion and structure, a director with global experience, and the return of animators who once shaped the golden age of Disney princesses. Everything seems to indicate that this time they want to, doing things right, taking care of every detail, from the music to the visual effects, from the costumes to the emotional tone, seeks to make the story feel like a homecoming. But can a new team redeem the damage already done? Is it possible to re-enchant an audience that already felt betrayed? The answers are still unclear, but what is evident is that Disney isn't just betting on one movie. It's betting on its legacy. Disney is no longer talking about a simple remake. In its latest releases, it doesn't even mention names. It talks about returning to the heart of the stories that they trained us to recover the magic. But between the lines, everyone understands that what's at stake isn't just a movie. It's a battle for reputation, to prove they can still move without dividing, that they can still inspire without provoking rejection. The new project has been shrouded in secrecy. There's no confirmed casting or definitive dates, just a veiled promise. This time, we won't spoil the story, but in a hyper-informed world, promises without results last. Meanwhile, the public watches, no longer with the hopeful gaze of someone expecting magic, but with the skepticism of someone who has been disappointed once in forums, social media, and film analysis channels. The question that recurs is the same. Have they really learned anything? Some fans express hope, others simply boredom. After years of controversial remakes, conflicting decisions, and forced agendas, even the most loyal Disney fans are beginning to wonder, what if this isn't the studio we knew anymore? Every new leaked detail, every creative decision will be judged as part of a major public examination. Because now it's not just about a princess, it's about recovering something much more valuable. Disney has put all its chips on the table. Rachel Zegler has been silenced, and Snow White is, what was once a simple children's story, is being rewritten once again. Today, it has become a reflection of the state of an entire industry. An industry that can no longer afford to stumble, that can no longer hide its mistakes under a layer of gloss. The new remake is not just another production, it is a desperate attempt to recover what was once sacred, the connection with the public. But the question that continues to hang in the air is disturbing. Is there still magic left in Disney, or just the dust of what once was? And now we want to know your opinion. Do you think Disney will be able to redeem itself with this new remake, or is it too late to rebuild what was broken with Rachel Zegler? Leave us your comment, because your voice is also part of this story. If you want to continue discovering the secrets behind the biggest Hollywood scandals, don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell. Revelations are coming that you won't want to miss.